Like you smiling already like a big ass kid. Yeah, you funny. What up, G?
What's up?
That's your podcast voice? That's crazy. Nigga came with the deep voice. This is called 9 months out.
Because it's 9 months from me graduating and 9 months out the womb.
Yeah. Most oftentimes as parents, when we think about 9 months, it always relates to that incubator season where, you're in your mother's womb and you're getting nurtured and developed and ready to prepare to enter the world. And, as a man, I don't know what that's like. I can't really relate to that. I didn't have that experience with you. But I do share in the joy of having these next 9 months until you graduate high school and you enter the world in a different and new way. So here we are, 9 months out podcast. Can I just tell you that I love you first and foremost? Like, our relationship has come a really long way.
Yeah.
And I've always been very proud to be a father, but I wasn't always proud of our relationship. And over the course of these last 6 years, man, I've just become so infatuated. I don't even know if you should be infatuated as a parent with your kid, but I've just become infatuated with you as a human being. Like I tell you all the time, if we were the same age and we were peers, I would want to be your friend. I just think your heart is so big. So yeah, thank you for doing this. I think this is gonna be a good thing for us.
Yeah, I love you too. It's it's been a short 5 years now.
We're going on 6. We got 5 and changing. So you came here 7th grade, but even remember before you actually moved, you did like 2 or 3 months out here that summer.
Yeah, that summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think you left for like 2 months and then you came right back.
Yeah.
So
It's weird how like fast it's been. And it's also weird how much I see myself grow in that time. It's definitely like when I look back, I'm like, wow, like that's what I was. And it makes me like it's crazy, but it's also it makes me like happy and like I feel like proud of what I am right now.
yeah, you did the work, yo. Like remember them early days? So when you first moved here, and we probably should give a little backstory just so people are familiar in case they're not. So the first 9 years of your life, I was on the East Coast. You don't recall things, but I used to have you like almost at like maybe 80% of every weekend since you were 2 months old. And then there was a point in time where I felt like professionally I couldn't remain on the East Coast. I needed to come to LA, but also, and at this point, we talk very transparently. Like there was also a point in time where it just felt like I wasn't allowed to be the kind of father that I really, really, really wanted to be. And I knew you didn't like me. Yeah, I knew you were like scared of me. And so I was like, yo, I'm going to go because this is unhealthy for all involved. And so I came to LA. And I was here for like 3.5, 4 years before I finally got the call that your mom, wanted you to come live with me. And for the record, I've always wanted you to live with me. Like we used to get in so many arguments. You have no idea. So that's how you ended up living with me full time with your mom being on the East Coast. But when you first moved here, you were still going to school in New York
Yeah.
because it was the pandemic. Can you let people know what that experience is like?
Man. That was probably one of the hardest school year I had. So I had to so since I'm in the East Coast, well, since I'm in California now and this school in New York, school started what, 8:30, 8 o'clock every day. So I had to wake up at like 5 a.m. every single morning.
Earlier than that, because what was the routine?
Oh, we would get up. I would do our morning affirmations, then jumping jacks, push ups.
Yep.
So I had to wake up like 4:30,
Yeah.
4:30 a.m. every morning. Go to school, and it was like over time I got used to it, of course, but especially in the first few months, it was like I never experienced something like that, and especially because of like how different it was living with my dad compared to my mom. Because admittedly, it was just a lot with my mom, a lot less like demanding of me to do a lot of things when it comes to like chores or school, and that transition to this was crazy. But
It was good though, bro. That's when I really learned what you were made of. You know, And remember, I used to sit next to you
Yeah.
those first few months, and even at my old ass age, I was the class clown. Like I'm making fun of you because you had like chorus. You had to do chorus online virtually. I got the video. Oh, matter of fact, I got the video. I'm gonna put that in.
Oh my God.
Mommy made me eat my M&Ms.
My stuff. We match my M&M. No, my feeling.
Hey, bro, that was some of my best memories. But it really taught me a lot about who you were because I know grown people who can't wake up at 4:30 in the morning and move their body the way that I would obligate you to do, and they get a paycheck attached to it. Like you really showed up in a way that was so very impressive. I didn't know all of what you were made of, and I still don't because you're still developing all these new characteristics and attributes. But that showed me a lot about your resolve and your ability to like really rise to the occasion in any kind of task. And I thought that was fire. But it paid off really quickly because if you remember, month two, what happened?
Oh yeah, I got student of the month.
You got student of the month.
Um, I had no idea I was gonna get it.
Something came in the mail from school today. It says, "We are pleased to inform you that your child received Student of the Month."
I'm surprised.
I'm here to help you, but it is you putting the work and the effort in and showing up for yourself every single day. This is about you. And when Dylan decides to put forth effort and fucking work, anything is possible. Dad curses, okay?
It was for like improvement, because I mean I did change. I like my grades almost flipped from from the beginning to that
Tell them what your grades were. I want to.
point. So in every class I had all Fs aside from gym. I had a D in gym.
How you get a D in gym is beyond me. I mean, all right.
But I had like all Fs. My mom was getting calls from my teachers. I was missing every like math assignments. It was bad. I had pretty much like months of like work and like knowledge to make up for in only a few months. And I don't know how I did it, honestly. It was the miracle that I got to where I was at that point, even after all that time I missed in school. But
You think that was a miracle looking back? Like you like really think about that.
I think placing myself in that moment, I think it was because I didn't know about me in that aspect a lot. I didn't think I was like I had the ability to work that hard and change and improve myself that much, especially in that short amount of time. So I think in that case of like figuring out myself and who I am in that instance, I think that is a miracle for me because I didn't know, because at the time my mental state was also really bad. I didn't really talk to you about that, I don't think, but I was like mentally that was probably the worst year I really ever had, and like I thought I was just like nothing. I thought I was like a failure pretty much, and like that change and improvement and like all that from when I was in New York to here, it was like wow, like I'm something. It was I was still like wasn't good, but like it was I felt like I was something.
I think you are a miracle. I think you are a superhero in many regards, and I've always told you what your superpowers are. But more than a miracle, man, I just think it was intention, and I think it was pressure. You had a different kind of pressure on you that you had never had before, which is what I'm saying, bro. Like I didn't realize that you would be able to even rise to that occasion like that, man. Like you wowed me, if I can be honest with you. Like you really did wow me. And I know you didn't like it. Hell, I didn't like it. Like I had to be up sitting next to you listening to that nonsense and but we did it. And I think it was the first domino to fall in our relationship really being on full display and how powerful it is. When you and I are connected, it's very powerful. It changes your life, but it also changes my life. You were born when I was 22 years old. Anybody who knows me now can only imagine what I was like at 22. It was different. And I was, living in Atlanta and living very fast and being very reckless, if I can be honest with you. And so upon arrival, upon even hearing about your arrival, before you even got here, you changed a lot about my life. And so I'm so fortunate that over these last 6 years, I've been able to give you at least a fraction of what you gave me, man, because you breathed new life into me on two separate occasions. One when you were first were born, and then two when you moved out here to LA to live with me. Like you changed my life, bro, on multiple fronts, and will continue to, so long as I keep living and life keeps going well. I want to ask, when you were first told that you were coming to live with me in LA, what was your immediate reaction?
See, it's funny. So when I first told my mom told me I was gonna be here until the end of that school year, then I was coming back. So I was like I don't like it, but I could live for that long. And then she told me, "Oh, you're like moving out there." I'm like, "What?" Like, what are you talking about? And admittedly, I was scared. That was the main feeling. I was like, is he gonna? Because where my girl was at then, is he gonna like be yelling at me? Is he gonna be like super mad? Is he gonna do this and that? Is he gonna what me? Like, what's he gonna do? It was very like scared, and I really like I don't know. I was just I was scared. Like I didn't know what it was gonna be like. I didn't know you, of course, at least as much as I should have back then. So it was like just going into a whole new world for me.
Yeah. What? All right. So then you didn't know me. I was the boogeyman. Agreed. Okay. I was the boogeyman. What do you know about me now?
I think you're a lot more like
This nigga's about to insult me.
No.
I feel it coming. Well, you're smarter than I thought you were. Say something wild.
nah, but I think you're like a lot more positive than I thought. Like, not to say I didn't think you were like super like negative. I think you're more nicer. Nicer is the best word than I thought you were. Because in my head and what I was kind of putting into my head was that you're kind of just like you're strict, you're mean, you're don't mess up or it's raps. That's kind of like how I always like felt. So knowing you now, when it's just like, nah, he's chill. Like, of course, he can have his strict moments, and that's just him being a father and being a parent. But
Yeah.
him, like, he's just like you're a cool dude. It's like,
I
like,
received that. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, I think it's tough, yo. It was tough in my role because I knew a lot of, and I want to keep this space a positive space, for all of us, But I know, I knew a lot of what you needed, and I knew that I had to balance out your world a little bit. So I had to be the one to try to instill certain things and maybe be a little bit more strict and actually have like a different level of expectation for you. And it sucks, man. I think a lot of dads actually had to deal with this. We're kind of regarded as the disciplinarians. And it's like, I don't want to be like punishment. I want to be able to just like be love. You know what I mean? But the role is the role because everybody should have two parents. I'm a firm believer in that, especially having gone through this experience. I believe that two parents working in accord is what's best for children. But yeah, that was that. I understand why you used to think that of me, especially because I was usually the one being like, no, like, or you have to earn that, or this has to make sense. Like, like these, there were things that I really did try to pull up out you. Um, and I know that was very counter culture to than what you had been accustomed to, and not even just with your mom, even with the people in my life. Even the women that I was dealing with during that time period, family. We have a lot of women in our family, so and you're a beautiful, sweet young man, and so I recognized early on that because you were beautiful and sweet as you still are to this day. It's so crazy. Your spirit is exactly today as it was when you first arrived to Earth. But I knew that people were going to coddle you, and I was trying really diligently to like create some level of balance. And unfortunately, in doing so, I think you got the wrong impression because early on there was going to be no way for you to understand what I was trying to
Yeah.
cultivate. But fast forward, we here, and yeah, I tell people all the time. In 2010, I wrote a script for a series called Pops. Did I ever tell you this?
Don't think so.
So, I'll show you the script. In 2010, I wrote a script about me raising my son and my nephew in Los Angeles, California. In 2010. 2010, bro. I knew it. I always knew that we would have this experience. I always knew it. And it was why the decision to leave the East Coast was a little bit easier for me than it would have been. Again, I for sure had to prioritize like my mental and spiritual health, but I knew we would get this chance. Nothing about my life is a surprise. I'll say that, um, not you, not this experience, nothing. So yeah, it's just, but it is wild to see or to feel, not even see, but to feel the impact of it all. Just like, yo, like I got to raise my kid. I got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just me and you. And I think my life is just so much better off for it. You got questions for me? I saw you had some notes written down.
Yeah.
What you got, champ?
Um. So people are always like, when they see us, like, "Oh, that's your son. You look like brothers," or like, "Yo, you're just alike," and like we never really see it.
I don't see it.
But aside from like physical characteristics, like, what do you like? What in me do you see in yourself? Like when it comes to like,
Mm,
you know?
mm. Man, that's a hell of a question, first of all. It could bring me to tears. I'm going to try to keep this a tear-free space. The older I get, the more emotional I get. But that is a phenomenal question. I see a lot of me in you. And it's different, right? It shows up differently, but the core of it is very much the same. Both good and bad. You have the lazy gene that I have. You have the self-doubt, the self-punishment, self-loathing gene that I have. You can be extremely hard on yourself and you allow the thoughts to snowball, right? I was the same exact way when I was your age. I couldn't get past the emotion of the moment. And I would torture myself mentally, being extremely unkind to myself. And it's something that I still actively have to work at. But I know that you do it. And, I've called you out when you do it. And I'm like, hey, I know where your head is at. Stop. Cut that thought off. So yeah, you got all of those things, right? Those are the bad things. The good things, man, you have a fight in you that I too have. And we get it. Well, I got it from my mom. Um, there's just a tenacity that you have about you and it's quiet. People, even my friends sometimes, people don't see it unless you close to you, right? But you, like I tell you all the time, there's not ever a moment that Dylan will not rise to the occasion, regardless of what the challenge is. You just do it, and it's the same with me. I'm living in LA. I came here with no job, nothing, like nothing, bro. Like your dad been down and out multiple times. And one of them periods is when you was out here living with me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm always going to get back. I'm always going to get back because I know that I'm just wired a little bit differently, and you wired the same way. What else? I gotta give you some more good. I gave you all that bad stuff. You care, and our care looks very different, right? I think your care is much more gentle than my care. Even the way you babysit my friends' kids, right? Like everyone just acknowledges that you have a nurturing spirit, and so do I. But it shows up differently because I just grew up in a hyper aggressive environment and in a hyper masculine kind of way, and you're not like that. But the care is the same, bro. I care about people the way that you care about people. When I hear you talking to your friends and you trying to solve your friends' problems and all of that, like I'm the same way. I'm the same way, bro. Like I'm the person that people come to for certain conversations, for a word of advice, or when they know they need to be held accountable. Like I'm the person that people come to. I've been I've been a teacher amongst my tight knit circle, in the inner sanctum of my life, and I see that same thing in you for sure. And then your sense of humor. Oh, your sense of humor is just like mine. People don't know. People don't. I'm a little louder about it, but this kid is an asshole, and he curses like a sailor. And I have evidence. I got video evidence of it now. Yeah, G. But your sense of humor is A1. You quick. You are quick with the humor. You got a little asshole in you, and I think it's healthy. I wish you would lean into that a little more often. But I know the world doesn't like assholes. But those are some of the things that I see, both the good and bad. Fair?
I
Any-
rock with it.
Huh?
I rock with it.
Anything you see that you're like that I didn't call out?
Um, aside from like things like that, I feel like get a lot of like your mannerisms now. Like I've been doing stuff like that, or like stuff like that. You know, like I really like picked up that, and like I didn't notice it at first, and I realized I'm doing like what you're doing. I'm like, oh, like that's crazy. Like it's like I think that shows like how much
Talk to the mic.
like yeah, I feel like that shows how much like impacts like you really like are having on me because I didn't like it's like when I learned to like whistle from hearing you do it so much or like things like that, even like the small things. Like I think yeah, you really like leaving like an impact on me like that.
Some of that stuff is DNA though, bro. Like there's certain things that I see you do. Yeah, the mannerisms things is kind of crazy. Even like the laugh, even the width of your smile. It's very much like wow. It's like wait a minute, this kid got my smile. That's crazy. But yeah, and even the way you talk, right? Like the speed talking thing. I'm also very guilty of that. You are way faster than me at times and way more jumbled than I am. But I'm an orator for a living, so I had to, figure out a little bit of something. But yeah, you definitely got all of that from me. It's like a speech impediment. You can't slow it down, bro. Sometimes you be like, I know, like when your brain is clicking and you like are just trying to say the thing and you hurry it up and trying to say it and then it just doesn't come out clear at all. You you got that from me. Are you surprised you don't have a beard yet? You've had a mustache since you were 6 months old, just for the record. So, like, if you look at it from that standpoint, are you shocked?
A little bit. I mean, I guess kind of like having like this grow out like gets my goatee right. We'll call it. Or like
That's some, I don't know if that's some bullshit.
I
I don't know.
don't know, but like seeing this grow out like I feel like I was slow and a little late for me than it did. It's like, oh, like I really just had my mustache. Like that's really it, which I think works. I don't know. I don't know if I'll work with a beard like that.
Yeah. Nah, you'd be dangerous with a beard. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know how fine you are yet, bro. You ain't even fully like walking in your full fineness yet. And I'm kind of thankful for that. Cause you don't prioritize a lot of the things that I used to prioritize growing up. And I think that's so healthy. I'm so glad you're not that version. You ain't get that part of me. Um, but yeah, it surprises me that you don't have a beard yet, but I also can't grow a beard still at 40 years old. So you might just be asked out. I just thought you would get it from your mom's side of your family. So it's like, that's not what I was saying. I know I wasn't going there. I wasn't going there. Yo, you stupid. This is the first episode, so I don't want to get too heavy, but there is for sure going to be some things that we touch on that get a little deep. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about the fractures that exist in life and in the world. Well, in our family and in the world. I think that's important. Culturally, we enjoy some of the same things. What's that like having a dad that you can go to the Kendrick Lamar concert with and, share music with, watch film and television with, and it's not like some old guy stuff.
I think a lot of that helped me personally like get a better connection with you. Like when we watch like Attack on Titan, like that, like
Yeah.
that really like helped me feel like way more comfortable with you. It was just like it was dope. Like I tell my friends, yeah, me and my dad watched Attack on Titan. I'm like, what? Like, what you talk about? And it's like it's really cool having a dad that I could like talk to about like Kendrick, because like talk to my friends, but my friends listen to stuff like that, right? But having my dad, that's like it makes life easier for me. I feel like it makes life more comfortable living here.
Yeah, it makes my life better. I couldn't stand, man. My mom, they wouldn't even let me like listen to my music anywhere, dog. It used to be so annoying. So annoying. I'm like, yo, just let me get this one car ride to listen to Jay-Z, but they just were so against it. And I think when your culture, and I had you younger, way younger than my mom had me. So the shift in generations, the generational gap was way wider between her and I than it is for you and I. And also because I work in culture and what I do for a living keeps me in the know about a lot of things. But yeah, I didn't want us to have that. I never would imagine that I would watch Attack on Titan, right? That was just something that was like me just signing up to be a part of your world and experiencing something that gives you enjoyment. But then I was like, oh, this is super lit. Like, this is kind of crazy. Like, I rock with it. So it's been amazing for me to be able to connect with you, beyond just the normal father son stuff. Yeah, man. This it'd be dope, bro. I don't think I can never fully articulate just how special it is and just how special this thing that we forged is, yo. I'm just gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna tell you until these 9 months are up, and then even once these 9 months are gone, um, I'm still gonna continue to tell you because wherever you go, I'm not gonna be too far away. Speaking of, so you are a senior in high school this year.
Yeah.
What's your GPA?
I have a 4.1.
4.1 GPA. That's crazy. Um, what did I used to always tell you when you first got here? Why were we working hard?
To give me opportunities, or in word like that.
The other O word.
Options. Give me options.
Working to have options, and you put yourself in a position to have options, bro. And that's all I could have asked for. The times where I'm sure I got on your nerves, I was like, hey, bro, like, sometimes I turn up.
Yeah.
But it paid off. And so now that you have options, let's talk a little bit about what it is that you would like to do. And something that I want to actually do as we just continue on is just talk about this journey, this moment leading up to when you finally make a college decision or a life decision, even if it's, you can make whatever decision you want. You're capable of doing that. But whatever decision you make, at the conclusion of this iteration of life, this iteration of our relationship, I kind of want to lead up to that in these conversations and just do a catch up about where you are as you think about the next steps and phase of life.
I really want to do film. I think that's that's kind of been set on that.
I'll
And
call you out.
and admittedly,
Yeah, go ahead, take accountability before I get your ass.
Admittedly, I need to be like more on like researching or studying other artists and like filmmakers, and I haven't done that enough. I think me watching like Spike Lee movies like Malcolm X, Mulberry Blues,
Mo Better Blues.
Better Blues,
School Days.
Yeah, we never finished it,
Were you finished School Days?
okay, but things like that. I think that it definitely helped me and like feeling more confident in what I want to do. Though I need to take more initiative myself, for sure, and just like study more. But I think that's like at least a nail on like definitely at least something. And then there's psychology and like just being a therapist. We talked a lot about that as of recent.
Yep.
And I'm still figuring out exactly how that is gonna work and what that world really is. And trying to understand like what that would be for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like I want to help people, and I feel like that's one of the ways I want to help.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like the most confident in helping people, I would say.
I get it, man. You got a big heart, bro. You got a really big heart. It's tough as your dad because I want you to live out all of your desires and dreams, but I just want you sometimes to I just want you to zoom out a little bit and just be able to recognize there's a lot of ways that you can help people. I think money isn't everything, but financial independence and freedom is really important. I'm really against you putting yourself in debt to go to college. I don't think you'll have to. I think we'll get a scholarship that allows us. I prayed about that. I prayed for you a lot in the last 2 months or so, man. I'm certain that my God is going to look out for you. I'm certain of that. Some of the things that you want to do, especially, me being in film and film adjacent, I just recognize a change in the industry, and it sucks that there's going to be, there could potentially be a generation of young artists and creatives who are really, really, really going to have to get it out the mud in a way unlike any other previous generation. So, in addition to studying, I also want you to study the business of what's going on in these spaces. I want you to see what these writer strikes and director strikes, actor strikes, what that why is that? What are these unions fighting for? It's important. Information. I give you all the information in the world. Sometimes too much information. I just want you to know what is actually happening out here because it's so easy to just be like, I want to do the thing. And then you get into the thing. And everybody in entertainment will tell you, all of my homies that you have met will tell you the same thing. We all bust our ass to get into this space, this industry. We got in it and it was just like, oh, this is none of that.
When it comes to like, when I was first born, when it comes to like becoming a father, what was the biggest challenge or biggest change you had to overcome for yourself to like be the father you wanted to be in your mind?
Like I told you, man, I really wasn't allowed to be the father that I wanted to be early on. The biggest challenge in fatherhood was the relationship with your mom. Like
Yeah.
we didn't know each other. We were strangers. We never went on a date. We never. It wasn't that thing. So I had a child, a beautiful, beautiful child with a complete stranger essentially, and culturally, your mom is Jamaican. I'm New Jersey black, which is its own thing, and so culturally, we didn't align on a lot of things. Like I knew that you were gonna have eczema, for instance. I knew you were gonna have eczema because I have eczema, and so your mom wanted to put like these really like scented lotions and stuff on your body, and I'd be like, yo, his skin is not can't handle that. So I want my baby to smell good. I'm like, yeah, but do you want him to feel good because like he's gonna break out. He's gonna and yeah, so even that was a point of contention, and you ended up having eczema. There were so many arguments, so many fights. I Yeah, we don't got to get into all of that right now, but the court stuff that I had to deal with, and I, man, you have no idea what it's like to drive from New Jersey up to New Rochelle on 95, going over to George Washington Bridge on a Friday night, most every weekend after you get off of work at 7 o'clock. You you can't even fathom. And yeah, so all of those things were extremely challenging. And then yeah, that was rough. And still trying to find my footing in the world. Again, I was 22. I was a loser by all intents and purposes. I didn't have much going for myself. I was a wild child, and I had to man up and get like a real job and stop not all of my fun. That's still my fun. You feel what I'm saying? But I had to make some huge adjustments in my personal life. All right, we keep this first episode short. I think we got a good thing going.
Yeah,
I
good foundation.
I like where we at. Did I tell you thank you for doing this?
Might have.
It just shocks me that you said yeah because I was thinking of what we can do to like memorialize this time period. And I was like, man, it'd be so interesting to do a podcast. I've always wanted to do like a podcast, but I never knew who to do a podcast with. It could be tough to be in a chair next to me, right? Because I'm going to be like, what are you talking about? And so to be able to do this with my son, the one person, oh man, I got a phenomenal story about the day you held me accountable and you became my favorite person of all time. We'll get into that next time. But yeah, I was just really surprised that you decided to do this because historically you've been very quiet. I know not everywhere, but with me. So when you say like, yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not opposed to that. I was like, for real. So yeah, thank you, G. And yeah, thank you. Thank God. Thank God, yo. You're not a big God guy. You're not a big God guy. We all go through things that I feel like will affirm our relationship with God and His Son Jesus and the Holy Spirit. And I would be a fool to think that me being here and thus you being here is solely coincidental. We're gonna talk about that shit. We're gonna talk about that too. Because you over here. That boy don't even want to go to church, y'all. All right. Great first episode, son. Good job. This is gonna be fun. We out of here, man. 9 months out. That was pretty good.
I felt like a lot more comfortable than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like a lot more pressuring, but I felt good.
Fire.